Hi guys! So today we're going to be taking a look at the control centre. It's a button box made by Bavarian SimTec and it's packing features. Now this was sent to me for the purpose of review, but it won't affect anything that I say about it. I'll give my honest opinion as always. So in terms of features, it's made of 6061 CNC aluminium. It has 20 tactile push buttons, all backlit with 4 LEDs per button. It uses their magic arm mount like they give you with the Pit Power. It's got 2 BeamTech rotaries like we've seen on the Alpha. It also has 3 USB-Cs on the back so that you can plug other devices into it, and I'll be testing that out because I can put my shifter and handbrake into the back. So it kind of acts like a USB hub. It also has 3 sticker sheets with it, which are some of the best stickers that I've had, because I've had them on the Alpha and they're kind of laminated and they don't feel like a regular sticker. They're really nicely made, and the 3 sheets total 224 stickers. The other good thing about this is that when I was looking at one of these, 'cause I've been thinking about getting a button box for a while, a few months ago there wasn't any Daniel Newman profile, and it wasn't usable on their software either, so you had to manually make your own profile through SimHub, which I'm not very good at doing. But right now Daniel Newman has got a profile for it on SimHub, and also they've implemented it into their own pit stop app, which is excellent. So you got 2 choices. So it'll double up as like if you've ever seen an eye flag, it can show telemetry with different series of flashing buttons, and yeah, it does look pretty cool. So how about we have a look then? Let's take a look in the box. Right, here we go. Here's the sticker sheets. Give you absolutely loads. And I've had the Alpha for quite a long time now, and the stickers on that, none of them have started to peel or like fade or anything like that. So really good quality stickers. That's the nut to attach the magic arm to the T-nut. They give you some nice tweezers as well, which is going to be handy for putting these on straight. Although the buttons are recessed with a lip around the edge, so it should be very easy to get the stickers on nice and straight. And there's the T-nut. So what you do, you just, once you've put the T-nut into your aluminium profile, you can screw that in. Once that's tight, you just attach one end to the magic arm, the other end attaches to the back of the unit, and then this tap, you loosen that, and you have full 360-degree movement. They're really nice. I've been using this with the Pit Power wireless charger, and yeah, very well thought out design. Okay, onto the main unit. Buttons feel very nice and tactile. Quite a small amount of travel. Feel really nice. Feel similar to the buttons on the Alpha wheel. Maybe a slightly higher actuation force, but I'm just taking a guess there. I haven't got a way of measuring it. And then we got the BeamTech rotaries, which you push down, and then it'll cycle between 4 different functions, and then when you turn it, it will adjust that function. So They're brilliant. On the Alpha wheel, they've been so good, especially with iRacing, because you have so many things that you need to map. And like the Alpha, they also act as a push button, so you should be able to assign it to, you know, I have mine to mute and deafen Discord on my wheel. And then when you hold it down and turn it, that's when you're changing the parameter. And then just turning it normally then changes that specific parameter. It's very heavy. I think it's about 600 grams, so it feels so nicely made. And then on the back here, there's 3 mounting screws, so you don't have to use the magic arm if you don't want to. You could use other methods of mounting it. And then that's to connect to the PC, and then the 3 other USB-Cs. It acts as a USB hub, a flag box, and a button box. So yeah, really cool. I've been fancying one. I use a Stream Deck XL as my sort of main button box, but because I do a lot of streaming, that's what I'm mostly using it for, adjusting stream stuff. And it'd be great to have a dedicated button box. This is probably the nicest one I've seen out of all the ones that I've looked at online and watched reviews of. This looks and it feels so well made. It's, the same build quality as the Alpha wheels, just feels flawless. Right, I suppose we best get it on the rig and we'll give it a test. So I've been using the control centre now for over a week. I've got plenty of thoughts about it, but before we get into that, let's have a quick look at the software. So let's start with SimHub. So from here, if you've got the Daniel Newman plugin activated, then you can click on it. And then down here, you've got all your devices. So there's my wheel using the DNR theme, and then click on button box. And this is where the control center appears. Now you've got a bunch of presets. We'll take a look at a few of them. There's some nice ones. I quite like the rainbow one. This Tokyo one, that's quite nice as well. Gulf one looks pretty cool. But with these, you can't click on any of the buttons and alter these presets. If I scroll down further, you can assign a rotary or buttons to change to the next and previous colours, the different themes. And then down at the bottom, you got marshal flags on, proximity spotters, pit lane, and engine startup animation. And you can bet that over time, there's going to be lots of extras added to this. Now, if you want to take control of it and create your own theme, you can do that. You can have a theme generator where you select, let's just pick a couple of colours. You can go up to 3 gradients. So, red, yellow and green. When you click create gradient, then you have that. Let's change this red to a deeper red. Oh no, that's the same one. Let's try blue. So you can quickly create your own theme using these gradients. If you don't want to use the theme generator and you just want to create each individual button, it's very simple. You just click on a button, the colour comes up, and then you click whatever colour you want. So let's just click on just a handful of these. Let's go with some random colours. And you can see the DDU has now got those 3 colours lit up. Now the BeamTech active colour, let's just pick one of these first. So if you want to change the colour of the volume, all you do is do this, click that, and now you'll see the volume has now gone blue. Now the BeamTech active colour, if I if I select blue for all of these, just as an example. Now the BeamTech active colour is white, so if I press this down now, change it to volume, the volume is now white. You can change whatever colour you want this to be. Then you can change the Bavarian SimTec logo. You can click advanced if you want to get really into the colours, but just for this, I've just changed it to purple, and that's it. Down here, you can change the pit lane effects in terms of the colours. From what I can tell, you can't change the brightness of individual parts, so you can't make the BeamTech lights brighter, because the rest of the LEDs, you can alter the brightness as a whole by changing this to brightness, and this really does get bright. I usually have it on the minimum. Go up one click, yeah. So you can change the brightness as a whole here, but when we check out Bavarian SimTec software, you can change the brightness of everything individually. So this is it for SimHub. Now we're on to Bavarian's own pit stop software. Now you can see the wheel that I'm using here. To select the button box, you hover over the devices section, click on that, and now we have the button box in front of us. So there's a few things we can do here. This is a profile that I just created, but I haven't changed anything yet. And I'm on version 2.2.1. Now, when they update this, it gets quite regular updates. They're always adding features to it. What you have to do is just delete the old one and download the new one, because it's an executable file. And I have it set to my Stream Deck just to press and launch it. And so first, let's click on brightness. Now you've got the master brightness, which gets pretty bright. I leave it around there, and then I'll adjust it using the dial for the brightness. You can change the brightness of the buttons, so you can see how bright this actually gets. It's way too bright for me. So I'll leave the brightness at around 50% for them. And then the encoders, you can actually dim or brighten them individually. So if you want them to be brighter, just leave them higher than the buttons. Same with the logo, the Bavarian SimTec logo at the bottom. Change the brightness of that as well. Then you can get onto the animations. So let's have a look. Now this is to choose what the button box does when there's no game running, and I choose to have it just as static. You can click randomize, where it will do random things. You can have it do a wave, where it goes across all the buttons. I just leave it static so it's not distracting. Now when you press a button, you get that little ripple effect. I've got that switched on. Pit limiter, you can have no pit limiter, but you can have it blink like that, or you can have it checkered so that it's blue and white, and you can change the colours of that if you don't like the blue and white. Spotter, same sort of thing. When a car's near you, it triggers the left or right side. You can change the colour of the left or right side. Then the engine startup animation lets all the buttons flicker slightly. It's quite cool, I do like that. And then we have the same thing with the yellow flags, green and blue. You can, if you select shattered, it's more of a scattered. I just have it on blink. Then if you want to get a little bit more into detail with setting up yourself a profile, you can click each button. You can change the icon on this. Now what that does is, so for example, the top left, I've got that set to auto fuel. If I click on the icon, somewhere in here will be auto fuel, and there it is. So now on this display, it matches what I've got on the button itself. So if I want to customize this, you can change the color to whatever you want it to be, and then you can change the brightness and the gradient. Also, you can click on this, which lets you change the behavior and color of the button when you press it. So for example, I've got it set to, let's set it to static, and that's red right now. As you can see, I can toggle the color, or you can have it rotating, or whatever you feel like. You can also change the individual colors of the rotary selections. Of course, if you don't want to go through setting up everything individually and you just want to get up and running quickly, just click on the color profiles here, and the first 10 are Bavarian's own creations to get you started, and they're really nice. If you keep scrolling, there's lots of other creations here by people that have taken the time to make their own and upload it. So if you want to create your own, just click create a new profile, type your name in there, and then once you've gone through setting up everything, you can share it with others. And that's it for both of the softwares. Now, in terms of functionality, it's really 3 devices in one. It's a flag, it's a button box, it's a USB hub, and having 3 USB-Cs on the back. Because the cable is a USB-C to USB-C, I plugged it into a Thunderbolt 4 port, which can supply plenty of power to whatever's plugged in. And I've plugged in wireless headsets to it. I've plugged SD card readers into it, and nothing has misbehaved. There's been no USB disconnection sounds randomly appearing, so it really has been working flawless. The buttons feel really nice. They feel, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that they feel like the same actuation force as the alpha buttons. And I haven't played around with making my own profile yet. I've just been using the Bavarian SimTec software as my main software to run the wheel and the control center. There's so many profiles already on there to choose from. I just haven't got around to creating my own yet, and I've just been cycling through them, wasting probably too much time really. I should just make my own profile and leave it at that. But yeah, the Daniel Newman setup, the plugin for SimHub, that works excellent as well. So, you know, pick whatever one you fancy. The magic arm mount is absolutely rigid. It's so well thought out, and there's no flex. I think they've done a really good job with that. I'd like to see, I think it would be quite handy if they were to start selling them, maybe different length ones as well, because it'd be handy to have a slightly longer one. You know, you could use it to mount a microphone. There's all sorts of things you could do if those magic arms ever become available to buy separate. I've managed to offload lots of buttons that I have assigned to things on my wheel over to the button box. It's just, I'm getting old, and having so many options of rotaries and buttons going between different games, I sometimes press the wrong thing. Yeah, like iRacing. The other day, for instance, someone took me out in a practice server, and I believe I called him a numpty. But what happened was I was pressing what I thought was the return to the pit button, but I was holding push to talk instead, while I said to whoever it was in the chat with me, "Oh, just numpty's just taken me out." So I accidentally broadcasted it to him. So now my return to pit is on the button box now, and I know the button that's my push to talk. So I've got less stuff going on my wheel now. I don't have to remember as many things. They're big and clearly labelled on the button box. We're good. I think what they've done with the lighting is very uniform around the buttons. They all look like they're lit exactly the same. It just looks stunning. It's really nice to jump in the rig, and when you turn your PC on, the wheel and the button box light up. It makes it a nice place to be, a nice place to sit. Now, am I going to keep this? Because it's not that often when I test something that I keep it. I'm quite picky. And yeah, I absolutely am. Because it matches the wheel. It looks so nice. It makes the rig look really nice. Price-wise, yeah, it's quite expensive. But we're in an expensive hobby. You know, you can do it on the cheap. And you can also make it expensive. You know, high-end gear does cost a lot these days. And yeah, it's not cheap, but I've got to keep this. I absolutely love it. So it is staying exactly where it is. You can just about see it in the corner there. It looks really good. So there is a link in the description. If you want to use the affiliate link, you can get 3% off anything from Bavarian SimTec. You can also use the code Danny Moffat at the checkout as well to get 3% off. So there we go. Right, I've taken up far too much of your time, and this took weeks to do. So I'm going to get stuck into the next video, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Take care.